Hey everyone, I'm Jesse from Darks Reviews, and this is finally my top 10 movies of 2015 video. It's January 4th, so I'm a little late, but finally got around to it, and I'm hoping to have my video game my video game list up later today as well, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. We'll see. Anyways, as a reminder, my contest ends on January 11th. Anybody who still wants to enter, but if you don't think you can make it by the January 11th deadline, I am willing to extend it by a week, maybe two. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see. Okay, so on with the movies. Quick note about my movie list. I put this list together just based on how much I enjoyed them. I don't care about Oscar bait, or they're not arranged according to how well I think each one was directed or acted or anything like that. It's just put together based on how much I enjoyed them. Anyways, on with the list. Okay, so I just had another quick look at my list, and I would say 10 to 6 I like kind of all equally, somewhat. I didn't put too much thought into where I put those, but 5 to 1 I did put more thought into where I placed them on the numbering on my list. So anyways, number 10 on my list is The Martian. I did read the book first. I borrowed from my mom, and I know it's a pretty common thing to say, but I did like the book more than the movie, although the movie was a very good adaptation. Where I thought the book did better was just I really liked the writing style, how it changed from all of Mark Watney's scenes or parts in the book. They're all written just as a journal, so you only know what he knows, see what he knows, and they did do that in the movie, but you also get to see all the things that he was doing in the movie, whereas in the book you're reading his thoughts and what he did. It's a journal. And then the other parts of the movie that take place on Earth were written more like your traditional novel. The very beginning of the movie, that's not in the book. Okay, I won't say how it ends, so I don't spoil anything for anybody. But the whole kind of epilogue in the movie, what happens to everybody at the end, that's all tacked onto the movie. That's not in the book. And also they left out when they have to leave out some stuff. Of course, it's a movie, but a lot of his struggles, problems that he had. In the book, he has had a much rougher time of things. He encountered a lot more problems. It's just obviously a lot more detailed because it is a book. And because of that, I just found it a lot more interesting than the movie. Although, again, the movie, as movie adaptations go, is very well done, and obviously I do recommend it. And I also recommend you check out the book. So yeah, moving on. And number 9 on my list is Straight Outta Compton. I am not a huge n.w.a. fan. I do like the song Straight Outta Compton quite a bit, actually. I like working out to that song, and the climbing gym that we go to, Vertical Reality, plays that sometimes. Really good workout song. But overall, I'm certainly not a diehard fan. But I remember when they came out in 88 or 89, whatever it was. I'm not sure exactly. I don't remember. But I remember when they came out and all the controversy surrounding them. And I remember seeing them on the Arsenio Hall show and not being allowed to play, or else they'd be arrested. And so they just sat on the stage and talked. So the movie had a kind of a nostalgic feel for me as well, even though I wasn't like a fan of theirs when they came out. They were in pop culture media so much that it definitely had a nostalgic feel for me. But I mean, even if you don't know who n.w.a. is, you don't like them, you hate them, if somehow you don't even know who they are. Or were rather, and you just treat the movie like as an entire work of fiction, it's still a really good movie. It's still a really good drama about a group that was did something very, very different, very controversial at the time, made the news a lot, and all their infighting and drama and members breaking up, going our own way, like Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, and yeah, it's just overall like really, really interesting and entertaining. Paul Giamatti, he was really good. Everybody was really good. So yeah, even if you're not a fan, I would still highly recommend checking out Straight Outta Compton. Good movie. And number 8 on my list is Avengers Age of Ultron. Not as good as the first Avengers movie, for sure. I mean, overall, obviously, I still really enjoyed it. But the whole Black Widow and Bruce Banner pairing up, that never really worked for me. That just seemed like, I don't know, that was odd. That really did not work for me at all. But I liked Ultron, and it was cool to see the Scarlet Witch. I wasn't too big on her costume. Not that she has to have the comic book costume. I just wasn't too big on the one that she ended up with in the movie. But she was cool, and yeah, I mean, overall, it was still like a very fun movie. But there were a few things in there they could have left out. I thought, like including some of the Thor stuff, like when he goes off and does his own thing. Yeah, still a really good movie though. And number 7 on my list is AntMan. I just saw this recently, actually, for the first time. We missed it in theaters, unfortunately. This was just a whole lot of fun. Paul Rudd did a really good job. It was also cool to see Michael Douglas, I'm guessing digitally de-aged. All the fight scenes between Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket, those were exciting and also hilarious because of the whole shrinking thing and the toy train, and I mean, it was almost like part comedy, part action comic book movie. It was definitely a little different from the usual Marvel movie, and yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much to say about Ant-Man other than it was a lot of fun. It was funny, had some really good action scenes, exciting. Yeah, that's basically it. And number 6 on my list is The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. When I first heard that they were going to split Mockingjay, the worst, I mean, it's still a good book, but it's the lesser of the three, into a 2-part movie, I was like, what are they doing? Like, well, obviously just trying to extend and milk the franchise for all they could before it was all over. But actually, it ended up being a good decision. They turned the weakest of the 3 books into one of the best movies. I still think Catching Fire is the best movie and the most accurate, and I think that's also the best of the 3 books. But Mockingjay Part 2, Part 1 was good, Part 2 is even better. It's like what they improved on. This is one of those very rare occasions where I think the movie was actually better than the book. Because the main problem with the book is the first, 25, 30 pages or so, which is just Katniss whining. That's all it is, just whine for 20, 30 pages. Once you're through with that, the book is actually pretty good. But in the movie, they pretty much just omitted all that. And they took the best parts of the book, which was the rebellion, the war, and made that the bulk of the movie. And I thought that worked really well. And one thing they kind of changed a little bit was President Coin. In the book, it's pretty clear early on that she's no good, and I'm not trying to spoil anything here if you haven't seen the movie or read the book, but it's pretty obvious early on that she's no good, and probably not much better than Snow or just another President Snow. But in the movie, they don't really reveal any of that about her until I don't think they did any of that really with her in the first movie. I mean, maybe you can kind of tell in the first movie towards the end, but they don't really make it obvious until part two, which I think was a really good decision for audiences who hadn't read the book. As a I don't know if I want to call it a surprise, but a character turn, character twist, or whatever you want to call it. So I thought that worked very well, and yeah, overall it was a really good not just a good adaptation, but I think superior to the book. And number 5 on my list is Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. Some franchises get worse as they go along, but Mission Impossible, it just gets better. 4 and 5 especially were really good films. I have no interest in James Bond films anymore. I don't know, maybe Daniel Craig just isn't for me as Bond. I don't know, but I'll take Rogue Nation over whatever the last Bond movie was. I don't remember. Sorry to any fans of the last movie. I don't really care about Bond anymore, at least not the last couple that came out. I'll take Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, and Rogue Nation over those. Really, right from the opening, Tom Cruise running after the plane and hanging onto the door and the wing, incredible. Fantastic stunt work, really good story. Regardless of what you might think about Tom Cruise, he can make a good movie. That man knows how to make a movie. I don't care what he believes, whatever crazy mumbo jumbo, that's fine, that's him. But he makes a great film, and he's just keep on making great films every year. I mean, he's the last 2 or 3 top 10 lists I've done. I've had one of his movies on my list. Edge of Tomorrow. Was Ghost Protocol on one? Probably was. I think so. Edge of Tomorrow, Oblivion. He makes a great film, and I like Simon Pegg's addition to the cast. I'm glad he stuck around from Ghost Protocol. I like him, and Ving Rhames still around. Yeah, awesome. And number 4 on my list is Ex Machina. This is another movie I just saw recently on Netflix. Wow, I was just glued to the screen the entire time. It's you can say it's kind of a slow moving movie. There's not really any action in it, but man, I am just glued to the screen the entire time. Really, really interesting story about artificial intelligence. Can you trust it? Can you become too attached to it and think it's human when it's really not? It's really a machine. A great movie. Kind of plays with your mind a bit, makes you think a lot. Easily one of the best movies out there dealing with artificial intelligence. Highly recommended if you have not seen it yet. And like I said, it is on Netflix. If you have Netflix and you haven't checked it out, check it out. It is really fantastic. And number 3 is Mad Max: Fury Road. Man, what a kinetic, adrenaline pumping, insane movie. All 4 Mad Max movies directed by George Miller, and they're all really different from each other. The guy really does not repeat himself. I liked Tom Hardy as Max, and Charlize Theron as Furiosa. They could have called the movie Mad Max and Furiosa, really, because they're not. They seem to almost have equal screen time and importance and whatnot. So, but anyway, they were both awesome, and man, just action from beginning to end, and just all the vehicles, and just constantly. Just constantly moving. There's not a lot of movies. There's plenty of action movies with, lots of driving and whatnot. But this is just constantly moving, all like for 2 hours. What do you call it? A chase. First half is a chase scene, and the second half is a race. And I loved all the crazy machines, especially the one with all the drums on it. And the guy playing the guitar with the flamethrower coming out of the handle. That was insane. It was hilarious and awesome at the same time. It was so metal. Man, it's kind of exhausting too. By the time it's all over, it's just like, oh man, wow, like it's exhausting. But I can't wait to watch it again. That's another movie. I saw a bunch of these movies actually just only recently. I picked up. I missed that in the theater. I picked up the Blu-ray on Boxing Day for, what was it, $12.99? Yeah, at HMV. So that was a good deal. But yeah, fantastic movie. I watched some of the extras, and I like how George Miller said, characters only speak when they need to, and that is so true. There's minimal dialogue in the movie, but it still manages to tell a good story and establish all their characters really, really well, just through their actions, and again, speaking only when they need to speak. Yeah, great film. And number 2 and 1 are almost a tie. I don't know. Anyways, number 2 is the Hateful Eight. We saw this just on Friday. It just came. Yeah, we saw it the day after it came out. Yeah, we saw it on Friday. Amazing. 3 hours just goes by like nothing. And even though it's just almost all dialogue, very, very little action, and most of the movie takes place just in a cabin. That takes some talent to keep an audience interested in a movie where you're in a cabin for. Well, it must have been in the cabin for like 2.5 hours or something like that. I mean, yeah, and of course the entire cast is amazing. Samuel L. Jackson, Jennifer Jason Leigh in a very different role. I've never seen her do anything like that before, and I hadn't seen her at all for a long time. I looked her up on IMDb, and she is still doing movies, but I haven't seen her do anything for a while. And yeah, oh, and Kurt Russell. And Kurt Russell was so awesome. Everybody was awesome. I can't say enough good things about The Hateful Eight. I mean, the cinematography, directing, the dialogue, just absolutely everything about it. I really hope to get a chance to see the 70mm Roadshow version. I hope it comes to Ottawa. If it does, I would definitely go and see that. Yeah. Oh, and the soundtrack. Soundtrack by Ennio Morricone. I didn't even know he was still making movie soundtracks, or if he was even alive still. I am buying that soundtrack. It's coming out on vinyl later this month. I'm definitely going to pick that up. Incredible soundtrack, really atmospheric. And I read in an interview, Kurt Russell considers this movie very similar to The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing that he was in. It kind of is. I won't say how, so I don't ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it. But it even has the same composer for it too. But yeah, absolutely incredible movie. I don't care about the Oscars, but Tarantino deserves an Oscar for this. Absolutely. And the number 1 movie on my list is Star Wars The Force Awakens. I did a review right after seeing the movie on opening night. There's a link up here if you haven't seen it. Yeah, I talk a little bit more about it there than I will here. Suffice to say that I absolutely loved it. I like how flawed Kylo Ren is. I like that he's not a Sith Lord yet, and he's really conflicted with the light and the dark and pulling on him. Has no control over his emotions at all. BB-8. Huge fan of BB-8. I liked him so much more than I thought I would. BB-8. Yeah. Solo, the Falcon, Chewie. I liked Finn a lot more than I thought I would too, and Rey. And and Poe Dameron. I forgot to mention him in my review video. He was pretty cool too, and I liked all the battles. Instead of being in space, they were on planets. Yeah, I can say a lot more, and I do say a little bit more in my review there. But yeah, absolutely loved it. Cannot wait for it to hit video, Blu-ray. Pick that up and watch it again and again. Yeah, J.J. Abrams. I had faith in J.J. Abrams. I knew he could do it, and he did. Not that he did it all by himself, of course. Lawrence Kasdan, yeah, who co-wrote Empire Strikes Back. That obviously helped. John Williams. Yeah, awesome. Alright, so that's my top 10 list. I'll throw out a couple honorable mentions. Terminator Genisys, not a great movie, but very fun. I really enjoyed it. Terminator 3 is garbage to me. Terminator Salvation, yeah, well-made movie, but just didn't do anything for me. I'm not the fan of T2 that I used to be. I still love the first one. First one is still easily the best in my opinion. But I was surprised how much I enjoyed Genisys. The way they just changed up the whole timeline and did everything differently, and we get Arnold versus Arnold. If I had a top 11, I would have put that at number 11. Also, Kung Fury, not a feature-length film. It's a short film. It's 30 minutes long, which you can watch for free on YouTube. I'll put the link somewhere here if you have not seen it yet. It's got a what do you call it? Theme song by David Hasselhoff with an awesome video, really 80s song called True Survivor. I'll put that here too because it's awesome. It's awesome, it's hilarious, super cheesy and crazy. It is insane how much they fit into 30 minutes. He has to go back in time to stop the most evil kung fu master of all time, Adolf Hitler. And so there's Hitler, there's dinosaurs, Thor is in it, there's a video game cabinet monster. It's amazing. Oh, my wife wants to mention the Naruto movie that came out, Naruto the Last. I think that's what it's called. I watched it with her. Yeah, so she wanted me to throw that in there. Watch Naruto the Last. And dishonorable mention goes to Jurassic World. What a stinker. I don't know how it made so much money. You know, personal opinions and all. It didn't even feel like a Jurassic Park movie to me at all. I thought the action, there was so much action in it, and it was all flat. Like when there's pterodactyls flying all over the place and attacking people, picking them up, I was just sitting there like, so what? Who cares? Like, there was no tension anywhere, no suspense, and those two boys. Oh, it was. I thought it was absolute garbage. But yeah. Anyways, that's just me. If you liked it, you know, yay. But I did not. So that's pretty much it. I'll try to have my video game, my top 10 video game video up later today as well. Although I don't know if that's going to happen. I will be working on it. Yeah. So I'm Jesse from Direction Reviews. Thank you very much for watching. Please comment in the comments section. Tell me what some of your favorite movies were for the year. Oh, and if you're wondering why The Revenant is not on this video, I haven't seen it yet. I know one person who's seen it, and based on what I've heard and read, it probably would have been on my list, but I have not been able to see it yet, so that's why it's not here. So yeah, anyways, please comment, tell me what some of your favorite movies were from the year, and please like if you liked it, sub if you haven't yet. Thank you very much for watching as always, and see ya.